Mine coming home from his brother's engagement party, and to cut a long story short, there's a bit of a story to it, but he drowned.
Right.
I was with him when he drowned, and so that kind of that obviously shook me. I began to ask questions like, where do we go and what comes after this?
Yeah.
Now, I'd seen a fella dead when I was 15. A chap I'd known was killed in a car accident, and I kind of always had that kind of like, where do we go? So that kind of led me to faith.
Still my friend, thoughts of you will always be with me till the end, living on a memory. That's all we can do, trying to find some pictures to remind me of you, and after the pain
got a job working in pastry plastering the walls, and one day he ran down to me and told me that he had his experience with God, and that's kind of how it began for us.
Right, very good. George, can you tell us what was the you had an experience with God, and explain to us how that came about.
I've heard a lot of people getting interviews, and I've heard them all saying that same thing. With experience with God, and it sort of does sound like it's out there somewhere, but my personal experience is that week, and I just went into a room one day and I just prayed with a fella, and it was like the Holy Spirit came in and just washed me clean from the outside on the inside, and it was a tangible experience. There was nothing, I didn't know anything about the Bible, I wasn't great in school or that, but I just knew that something had dramatically changed in my heart.
And tell us how that affected your lives then after that.
Well, it kind of affected all of our lives because we just took it really seriously.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not saying I had a problem with drink, but I liked the point.
Yeah, yeah.
And probably I liked a bit too much at times, but not more than any other Irishman. But to cut a long story short, I asked the Lord to stop that in my life, and He did. Just stopped. And things like that happened to us. And then my son got meningitis. He was 5 years of age, and he gave him 24 hours to live because he had septicemia as well, and he recovered. And the professor and all told us we don't know where it was because his internal organs had failed for 9 hours. So we'd seen stuff like that around us all the time. I'm not saying all the time,
yeah,
but like convinced us that the Lord was with us. So.
And you then moved on to sort of gospel singing and things like that?
Yeah, well, what happened was when the D11 was finished, we were always involved in an organisation called Teen Challenge. A friend of mine was strung out on drugs, and he had an experience with God, went to Teen Challenge. It's a recovery programme. So it comes from a book called The Cross and the Switchblade. So basically I wrote an album based on that book, and then went around schools using the book and the songs to try and teach kids about the dangers of crime and drugs and all. So that's really where it's at.
Yeah. George, did you want to come in there?
Yeah. Yeah, that's where it was for us at the time, and it was all fresh, it was all new, it was exhilarating a lot of times, how you're growing up, and the experience then that we came into it, like it was like the Lord just basically completely changed our heart radically. Now, there was an outworking of all that. This is not a hairy-fairy story, as we can see today, the reality of it. There's an outworking of all that, and we as individuals, we come up with our own little trials and tribulations through life, but like we do believe, and even in the situation we find ourselves today, we do believe that Jesus is God. Do you know what I mean? He did rise from the dead, and he does have a plan for our lives. And this is not over for Joseph. Yeah. You know?
And did one of the members become a preacher or something like that, was people saying?
Yeah, it was another brother of mine, of ours, Pat. He became a preacher, and he preaches. And
he can't be here this evening because he's preaching.
He's preaching. He's the pastor of the Apostolic Church in Pearse Street.
Very good.
You know.
And so then, going on from that, you were diagnosed with motor neuron disease, and that's why the song is to bring awareness of that.
Yeah,
Tell us a little bit about that, Joe.
Well, not August gone, the August before that. I was a boxing coach, and I was in France, and my left hand started shaking very badly. And to cut a long story short, I thought it was from the pads.
Yeah.
The pad work with the kids. But then I started losing a lot of muscle in my body, and power. So I went to doctors and got x-rays and blah blah blah. And one day I came home and looked on the internet what would cause this, and all it came up was motor neuron disease. No, I never heard of it. So I read it wasn't very much good news on the internet.
Right.
Went back down to the doctor because it went into the right hand then. And I was brought into the Mar Hospital for 2 weeks and done a series of tests on me, and I was diagnosed. At the moment I'm on a trial drug. Right. I'm under Professor Hardiman in the Beaumont Hospital. So that trial ends next August. So you know, I don't know where it's going, but I do know one thing, that where there is no way, God will make a way. Yeah. And I hang on to that. So praise the Lord, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And you're paralysed in your arms and hands?
My arms are gone, yeah.
Right.
Can't use them anymore.
Right. And you performed this song. This was a little while ago, was it? And then you got in touch with Peter.
Yeah, well,
what happened there?
Originally I had written the song, and I wanted to put it down rather than just have it just on a piece of paper somewhere. And I went to Joe and I asked Joe if he would sing it for me. And by sheer coincidence, Joe's uncle, Jerry Stafford, who runs the Bray Concert Band, I never realised he was Joe's uncle, and I asked him to do the brass arrangement for me.
Yeah, I love that part.
Yeah, and actually, you know, again, it's just one of these sheer coincidences where everything sort of here has fitted together.
Yeah.
And, you know, when Jerry did the brass arrangement for me and when we put it together, I actually thought it was a hit song. But again, you know, we were never going to put it out at that time, okay?
Yes, yeah.
But I met Jerry, Joe's uncle, about 4 weeks ago, and he said, look, do you know that Christmas song? And he told me about Joe, and he said, could you do anything to raise awareness for the motor neuron issue and to give Joe a lift, you know, to give him something to look forward to, something positive. So I went to Joe and I said, would you be into doing the record, and we'll restructure it and get it out.
And you finally...
And here we have it.
Here we are. The prognosis, Joe, like you just, with motor neuron disease, it's a really debilitating, really tough disease to deal with.
Yeah, but at the end, every morning I wake up, and I only have today, and the battle's in the mind. So my wife brings me over, and I train on my legs for an hour every other day. And then I devise this session that I can do in the pool with resistant pads. I do that every other day. So I spend an hour training every day. And then I'm writing a book at the moment, a book of poetry.
Yeah.
Based on a book I read about Dublin's Monto. That's another story. So I'm doing that, the singles out. And all we have is today, no one's promised tomorrow. And that's how I'm looking at it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you know what I
And
mean?
you've written a few books, is that right?
No, George has.
Oh, George has.
Yeah, a couple of years ago I decided, I got this idea in my head to write a book, and now again, as I said earlier, academically I wouldn't have been have the tools there, but amazingly I have an ability and a gift. So I wrote a book, it was called Somebody Up There Likes Me Too. The title comes from an old film, if anyone remembers it, years ago. It was called Somebody Up There Likes Me. It was based on the life of Rocky Graziano, who lived on the Lower East Side in New York. And he went on to win a world title, the middleweight championship of the world, when he beat Tony Zale. I think it was 1954, I'm not sure. So I just put the word "too" to it, Somebody Up There Likes Me Too. And it was basically a story of myself and Joseph and our family growing up in Ballymun, the flats of Ballymun, and the move to Finglas, and the experience we had as young boys and young men boxing, the titles we won, and then going on, of course, into the day 11 runners and all that. And then I ended up writing another book called Tommy Two Coats and Mr. Jacob's Coin. I didn't publish that yet. And that again, as Joseph said, describes the Monto, Dublin's Monto. And then he ended up writing a book called The Manuscripts. And that again is doing well at the moment. We've done, between the whole lot of them, I've done a couple of thousand copies here and there and that. But there's a Christian gospel message in the manuscripts. And I'm working on one at the moment, should be out next year. So we'll see how it goes, you know what I mean?
Great. And the overall message of those books?
Well, there's different themes to them, and the writing ability is different as I progressed as well. The manuscripts is basically about 3 different characters, Frankie, Pitbull, and Nash. And at one point, I'd written the script. We were actually out filming it, but then when I got the news, of course, that Joseph was diagnosed, I decided that's it for me as far as film is concerned. You know what I mean? I hadn't got my mind, couldn't be running off on sets, and that's put on the shelf for another day maybe. But yeah, so we're just living for the future, you know what I mean?
Joe, tell us how people can find out more about motor neuron disease and how they can help.
Well, there's a website, I haven't got the address, but it's the Irish Motor Neuron Disease Association. And from there, you go on the internet, you'll find out. They need funding, but there's also Dr. Hardiman in Beaumont. Is one of the leading professors in the world at this. Now she set up a research team. They're doing tremendous work. And they all need funding.
Yeah.
Like they all need, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it's a very, very rare disease. Only 80 people a year get it. But that means 80 people next year are going to get it.
Yeah. Somewhere
in this country.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I often think Jackie, God help them. Because the worst part of anything is the fear of what you're going to get. If I'm afraid to fight you or to challenge you, the fear lies in the event, before the event. But when it comes, we deal with it. We fight it. Now I've got a fight on. Now I know I can fight. But prior to that, it's terrible. The fear of it, you know what I mean? So they need all the help they can get.